Okay, a very good evening to all the voters, to the resident of Jurong East, to the resident of Jurong Central SMC. Thank you for coming down to our rally. Due to the weather, we will have a slight delay by 7:15 at the moment. We will let you know again once we get clearance to commence with the rally. Thank you.
Tiga, gua lima. Share. Who's number 4?
Parsley. How do I get it? How do I get it? Okay, a very good evening to all residents of Jurong Central SMC. Welcome down to Jurong Central SMC Valley for Red Dot United. Okay, we are still waiting for the clearance. Okay, however, we are still waiting for the clearance to check uh, if the rally can still proceed due to weather. We do not want to have anyone be struck by lightning later on. So just give us a few moments while we get the clearance from the authority. Thank you. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, residents of Jurong Central SMCs. Okay, I would like to just inform you currently we're still waiting for the approval for the rally to begin, as there is still a lightning risk warning. So I would like to seek for all those here at the rally site to seek shelter for the time being, and we will announce it again once we have the approval to begin the rally. Thank you. All right, we would like to seek for your kind cooperation to please seek yourself to the nearest shelter, as the lightning risk is still on. We will not be able to commence the rally when there's still a lightning risk. Thank you. Check mic 1, 2. Podium mic. Check 1, 2. Okay, a very good evening once again to all residents of Jurong Central SMC. First of all, we'd like to apologize for the delay due to the weather. So due to the safety for all of our residents, friends and family who are here at the valley side, we really concerned on your safety and we do not want any incident to happen. Okay, once again, welcome down to Jurong Central SMC. This will be our third rally for the campaign. First of all, let me just introduce myself. I'm Fazli Talib. I will be your MC for tonight. And without further ado, let me just welcome our first speaker for the day, Ms. Liana Damira.
Thank you, Fazli. Good evening, everyone. My name is Liana Damira. I'm a mother of four, a wife, a community builder, and I stand before you today as a Central Executive Committee member and the treasurer of Red Dot United. When I first stood in 2020 general election, I was new to the political scene, filled with passion and purpose, but still learning. Fast forward to today, in GE2025, I stand before you with 5 years of hard-earned, ground-up experience. I spent that time walking with you, listening with you, and growing with you. Over the past week of campaigning, I've been pouring every lesson I've learned into every speech, every handshake, every heartfelt conversation. Tonight, we are at our third out of 4 rallies, our second last rally, and just a shy 36 hours away from cooling off day. On Saturday, 3rd May, we head to the polls. And I ask that you go with conviction, not fear, with hope, not habit, because hope is what I see in each and every one of you. In Jurong, I met a single father working the night shift. He said to me, Liana, I'm not asking for handouts. I just want policies that don't punish me for being poor. In Clementi, a fresh graduate told me he's drowning in gig jobs. I've got a degree, he said, but I feel disposable. And in Bukit Batok, a mother explained how her family gave up on dental care because private clinics are too expensive and the polyclinic queue is simply too long. This is why we say it's time to raise the standard. Because you are not asking for riches, you are asking for dignity, to be treated as what you are, first-class citizens in your own country. And Red Dot United hears you. We are proposing practical, people-first policies grounded in our 2025 manifesto to bring real improvements to your everyday lives. At Red Dot United, we believe Singapore needs a reset, not more patchwork, but real solutions. We are calling for a citizens' dividend to give every Singaporean a safety net, especially when jobs are scarce. We want a comprehensive housing reset, so flats don't lose value and young people can afford a home, including rent-to-own schemes for those starting out. We are pushing for a well-being economy, not just chasing GDP, but ensuring fair wages, stable jobs, and support for our local businesses. In healthcare, we want to cap out-of-pocket costs, expand coverage, and make subsidies truly work for the lowest income families. And we are committed to civil freedom and transparency with a Freedom of Information Act and a clear stand against law that silence honest voices. Because in our Singapore, every citizen deserves dignity, security, and the right to be heard. These are not lofty dreams. These are necessary changes. So tonight I ask you these questions. Have your lives improved in the past 5 years? Have your MPs spoken up for you in Parliament? Have they challenged policies that fall short or merely explain them away? If the answer is no, then this is the moment to say enough. We don't just need managers of the status quo. We need leaders who dare to ask tough questions, who care about the consequence of silence. RDU is not afraid to speak truth to power. We don't serve political convenience. We serve you. We don't want a seat in Parliament. We want a voice that echoes the real concerns of Singaporeans. So I urge you, as a fellow parent, worker, and citizen, let's build a fairer Singapore together. Let's be treated not as afterthoughts, but as first-class citizens. And together, let's raise the standard. Let's march forward together with courage. This Saturday, 3rd May, vote with your head and your heart. Vote for a future where children don't just survive but thrive. Vote for policies that uplift, not burden. Vote for leaders who walk the ground, not only during elections, but throughout the years. Vote Red Dot United. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Liana. As you can hear from Liana, she says she wants to have a voice in the Parliament. But let me just urge again, we do not just want to become the voice in the Parliament, we want to have the seat in the Parliament so that we can represent you, the people, for Jurong Central, SMC, represent you in the Parliament. And without further ado, let me introduce a feisty comrade of mine, Mr. Pang Heng Chuan.
Thank you, Fasli. Good evening, fellow Singaporeans. Okay. I'm Pang Heng Chuan. I'm 56 years old. I've spent over 25 years in the private sector as a company director, leading business transformations, fixing broken systems, and making tough decisions, not for profit alone, but for people. Because in the end, every responsible leader knows you don't run an organization just to look good. You run it to do good. And when something breaks, you take responsibility. Okay? Let's be honest. Governance in Singapore has lost that sense of responsibility. You have heard the headlines. $330 million spent on the Founders Memorial. Basic maintenance in public housing falling apart. Rising costs, fare hikes, GST increases, while the government signs off on multi-million-dollar projects and ministerial salaries. If I had walked into the boardroom with a proposal like that, while staff are still struggling, I'll be laughed at, or worse, replaced. Because in the private sector, you're held to results. If you overspend, you answer for it. If your team fails, you step up, not just hide behind junior staff. And that's what's missing in our political leadership. The willingness to say, I was responsible, I will make it right. Ministers want $1 million salaries, justified as competitive pay, fine. But if they want CEO pay, they must accept CEO accountability. When something major goes wrong, their heads, and not just the junior, must roll. And that's why I joined Red Dot United. I saw a party that understands what good governance should look like. Not slogans, but standards. Not showmanship, but substance. We are calling for public KPIs. Every ministry, every statutory board must report annually on targets, clear, measurable, and transparent. Real consequences for failure. If major lapses occur, we expect resignations, not just a press release. And we are also calling for independent oversight. Parliament must not be a rubber stamp. It must scrutinize, challenge, and correct. We are also calling for mandatory risk reviews. Every large-scale project must undergo thorough, independent risk evaluation before it's approved. And we must also cut the fat. No more bloated ministries. No more mayors and parliamentary secretaries collecting salaries with no clear portfolios. Trim the waste at the top and use it to strengthen the backbone of this nation. Housing, healthcare, elder care, job support. Because here's the thing. In business, when times are tight, you don't take money for yourself. You find a way to give more back to those who have carried the burden. Governance should work the same way. Because the people of Singapore are not passengers. You are shareholders of this country. In my career, I've had to make hard decisions, including letting people go. But let me be clear, that is always the last resort. A responsible leader doesn't start with cutting workers. You cut bloat. You stop vanity projects. You protect jobs. You protect people. I say this because I know many Singaporeans are anxious about their livelihoods. I've led teams through crisis. I've fought to keep jobs on the table, and I'll do the same for you. What Singapore needs now isn't more management, it's leadership. Leadership that is accountable. Leadership that understands the weight of responsibility. Leadership that remembers who it serves. So, if you believe that government should be held to the same standards as the people it governs, that your tax dollars must be respected, that dignity, performance, and accountability must go together, then vote for Red Dot United. Okay. Together, let's build a Singapore where every citizen is treated like what we are. A first-class citizen in a fairer Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pang Heng Chuan. Yes, we do want a fairer Singapore for our future, for you, and Next, let me introduce you, Miss Emily Wu, a candidate from Holland, Bukit Timah, GRC. Miss Emily, please.
Good evening, my fellow Singaporeans. I'm Emily Wu. I'm 59 years old. I'm a Public Service Commission scholar, a music teacher, and your Red Dot United candidate for Holland, Bukit Timah, GRC. As a musician, I've spent decades listening not just to melodies and rhythms, but to the spaces in between, because in music, the pauses matter. The dynamics matter. Listening with care and precision is everything. And in politics, it should be no different. But we must ask, are our current MPs really listening? Are they present throughout Meet the People sessions, or just showing at the tail end? Do they see their role as a duty or a part-time gig with $1 million paycheck? One MP gets over $190,000 a year. That's nearly 1 million in 5 years. We have every right to ask, are we getting value? In our walkabouts, we met Madam Mary, a resident in her 60s, living in her rental flat with her elderly mother. She had suffered a stroke and now walks with a stick. Madam Mary tried to see her MP not once but twice for help. Both times, he arrived late. She never got to speak to him. She also went to the social service office, but the requirements were too rigid. She didn't qualify. And so Madam Mary is slipping through the cracks. This is what happens when systems are built without heart. And then comes the election goodies. What do we have? Trolley bags, rice, fish, even toothbrushes. A senior uncle at a hawker center asked me during our walkabout, "So, what are you giving out?" I told him, "Uncle, no gifts, just my voice to speak for you." He smiled and said, "Good, that's what matters." That's why I joined Red Dot United. We're a party that believes in listening first, acting second, and always with heart. We stand for fair value for all, which means policies that reflect the everyday lives of Singaporeans, not just economic theory, but lived reality. We're calling for, number one, a citizens' first hiring policy so that locals aren't bypassed in favor of cheaper alternatives. Two, jobs with CPF and real security, even for contract and platform workers. Three, a leaner cabinet by cutting political excess. No need for so many mayors and duplicate office holders. Next, ministerial pay pegged to median wages so that leaders are invested in growing the incomes of all, not just the top 10%. And so, we're proposing a citizen's dividend, a modest, unconditional payout that honors every Singaporean's contribution to our nation. Not a handout, a recognition. Now, let me be real with you. I'm single, but I'm not alone. I have family, I have students that I've taught over the years, and I have this huge Singapore family I meet on my walkabouts, from the uncles, the aunties, young parents, caregivers, storeholders, and fellow seniors. Some of you call me Auntie Emily. It's okay. I wear that with pride. Because being an auntie means showing up. It means listening. It means speaking up, even when others stay silent. That's the kind of leadership I believe in. We don't need politicians who drop by once every 5 years with goodie bags. We need leaders who walk the ground, ask hard questions, and speak up for those without jobs and without a voice. So if you're tired, excuse me, we don't need politicians who drop by once every 5 years with goodie bags. So if you're tired of not having your voice heard, come walk with me. Let's build a Singapore where we are all first-class citizens. Let's build a Singapore where there's fair value for all. Let's vote for, let's give your vote. We ask for your vote and for your mandate. Please vote for Red Dot United. Majulah Singapura.
Okay, let's give a round of applause. I don't know, she called herself Auntie Emily, so why don't we give another round of applause for Auntie Emily? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Holland Bukit Timah, you have your auntie as your MP. So now let us go to the good-looking guy from Jurong East, Bukit Batok GRC, Mr. Osman Sulaiman.
Thank you, Fazli. Dear fellow Singaporeans, I'm Osman Sulaiman, one of the candidates for Jurong East, Bukit Batok GRC. I'm a businessman. Prior to that, I worked 10 years in corporate world with an NMC. And today I stand before you to ask for your support. We stand here today at a crossroad. The Singapore dream is slipping away. The 5 C's, once a symbol of our aspiration, now seems a distant memory. Too many of you are working harder, only to see your wages stagnate, while the cost of living skyrocket. Too many of you are worried about whether your children will be able to afford a home, whether you'll have enough for retirement, whether your voices even matter. The PAP preaches meritocracy, that anyone can succeed if they work hard enough. But is this the reality? Or are we witnessing a system? Or are we witnessing a system where the elite school, powerful family networks, and revolving doors between government and the GLCs keep the top 1% firmly in control? Interestingly, The Economist magazine has issued its 2023 Crony Capitalism Index. Crony capitalism is usually defined as an economic system where politically connected individuals or businesses in the private sector benefit from government policies giving them advantage over competing entities. And out of the 43 countries measured, the index ranks Singapore 4th, behind Russia, Czech Republic, and Malaysia. The first time the index was issued in 2014, Singapore was ranked 5th. And the last time it was issued in 2021, Singapore was ranked 3rd. So nothing much has changed. Red Dot United believe in a Singapore that is inclusive, a Singapore where hard work is rewarded, where opportunity are within reach, and where every voice is heard. Our manifesto is not just a list of promises. It's a vision for a new social compact, a fundamental shift in how our society works, built on the pillars of heart. When I use this language, my daughter is always smiling. She likes when I do this. So the H is for housing security. We will ensure that every Singaporean has a secure and affordable homes. We will make every HDB estate eligible for redevelopment so that your flat don't become a depreciating liability. We want to introduce rent-to-own scheme so our young people and those with lower income can have a path to ownership. The E is for equitable healthcare. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege. We want to expand MediShield Life to restructure MediFund and cap out-of-pocket costs so that one is not burdened by medical bills. We will ensure your healthcare system serves the people. The A is for assured prosperity. We want to put more money back in your pocket. We will push for a citizen dividend and unconditional cash transfer to provide a safety net for every Singaporean funded by our nation's surpluses. We will also want to reverse the GST hike back to 7%. It's time the economic growth benefit all of us. The R is for a resilient economy. We will build a resilient economy that works for Singaporeans. We will support our SMEs, the backbone of our economy, by ensuring fairer procurement policies, tackling the late payments, moderating rents, and making grants more accessible. We will prioritize citizen-first hiring. And the last T is for transparent governance. We will restore your trust in our institution. We need more transparency and accountability. We will push for greater access to data and information so that you can be involved in the decisions that affect your life. We will review laws that stifle critical thinking and honest discussion. We cannot be afraid to ask tough questions. Some say our ideas are radical and impossible, but we say they are common sense, and with the will of the people, anything is possible. We are not here to tinker around the edges. We are here to transform Singapore. But we cannot do this alone. We need you, the people of Singapore, to rise with us. This is your movement, your voice, and your future. Every vote counts. Every voice matters. We are not asking you to believe in us. We are asking you to believe in the Singapore that we can build together. Red Dot United is committed in serving you, to fighting for you, and to build that better Singapore together. So I ask you today, are you ready for change?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are you ready for a Singapore that put people first?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you ready to join us in nation building and we can all be proud of?
Yeah.
If you are, then stand with us, volunteer with us, support us, and on election day, vote for Red Dot United. Together, we can reclaim our future. Together, we can build a Singapore for everyone. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Osman. I think the speakers are all gearing up since we are coming almost to the tail end of the campaign. And from Jurong East, Bukit Batok, now let us travel to the north. Let me introduce you a candidate from Nee Soon GRC, Ms. Sharon Lin.
各位裕朗东单选区 Jurong Central SMC 的选民们，大家晚上好。我是林怡慧，我是义顺集选区的候选人。我今年40岁，是一名资深的资讯科技顾问。我拥有超过10年的相关工作经验。今晚，我很高兴参与这场群众大会，为你们的候选人 Madam Kalamanikam 助阵。她是一位很勇敢、坚强、独立，并且热爱新加坡的女性。我希望大家能够踊跃的支持她的参选。过去几天，相信大家应该听了不少执政党对消费税的辩护。我想在这方面跟大家说几句话。虽然游客在新加坡消费，但是他们只在新加坡逗留几天，可能3到5天，他们只负担那几天的消费税，仅此而已。而且他们也能够退还一些消费税。可是新加坡人呢？新加坡人生活在这片土地，每天都在消费，每天都在还消费税。不管你是学生、没有工作收入的年长人士，或者是中低收入家庭。说到有钱人，不知道邵木根部长是不是每一餐都花费至少100块钱呢？部长愿不愿意透露他每天花在食物上的花费呢？其实啊，部长是一位受到很尊敬的人，我也不想太难为他。如果他可以透露他的消费喜好，对我们来说是一件好事，但是如果真的不方便透露，那就罢了。再说，如果部长或者部长级人物，或者是亿万富豪们，他们真的每一餐都花至少100块钱的话，对他们来说，这种消费是不是轻而易举的呢？其实我也是认识一些有钱的朋友，和他们一起用过餐。他们和大多新加坡人的不同，在于他们有选择。他们能够去昂贵的餐馆用餐消费，而不会觉得口袋会破一个大洞。但是他们和我们一样，他们也可以选择去食阁或者小贩中心，减少他们的消费。但是中低收入的人士和家庭呢？他们还有其他的选择吗？答案是有，但是比较没有尊严。他们只能选择吃一些没有营养的快熟面，去超级市场买最便宜的蔬菜。有些有经济困难的年长人士，或者是家长，为了孩子，甚至不吃3餐，只吃2餐或1餐，甚至一整天不吃东西，只为了省一点钱。请问大家，这样的生活有尊严吗？请让我重申红点同心党的竞选宣言。我们已经在我们的宣言中详细的阐述了我们的政策理念，我鼓励大家详细细读。政府所分发的购物券只能用于某种消费，用途很有限，而且分发的次数1年几次， 但是新加坡人每天都在消费啊，每天都在还消费税啊。在这里，我想强调几点：我们要求把消费税调回7%，我们也要求去除碳税，因为这么做能够让新加坡人的口袋有多一点现金，能够让新加坡人有更多的灵活性，应付每天里里外外的各种开销，让每一位新加坡人决定自己应该如何消费，因为这样是更有尊严的做法。再加上公民红利，也就是大家之前所听到的 citizens dividends， 一个无条件的现金转移。我们认为这会让每一个新加坡人对生活、对未来有多一份希望，有多一份安全感。我们强调公民优先，让新加坡人在就业和住房有优先权。在住房方面，我们也强调需要平稳的管理我们的房屋价格，或是扩大先租后买的计划，让新加坡人更有能力拥有自己的房屋。红点同心党最终的愿景，我们要让新加坡人成为一个更公平的社会。我们要让新加坡人成为一等公民，过着有尊严的生活，不仅仅是苟且生存。5月3日，请投红点同心党1票。谢谢大家。
谢谢 Sharon Lin. Thank you very much. Okay, now let me welcome our next speaker, Mr. Sharat Kumar from Holland Bukit Timah GRC.
Good evening, fellow Singaporeans. My name is Sharat Kumar. I'm 25 years old, an assistant engineer trained in mechatronics, working in a multinational enterprise. I am a proud Singaporean. Like many citizens, I believe Singapore must be guided by clean politics. If we are to uphold the principles of clean politics, if we truly believe in fairness, integrity, and justice, then accountability must be consistent. No matter who you are, no matter how high your position is. Because today, it feels like there are two different Singapores. One where ordinary people are held strictly to the rules, no second chances, no explanations allowed. And another where those in power are allowed to explain, excuse, and move on. This cannot stand. The same standards must apply to everyone, especially to those who lead. This is not just about one mistake. This is about a troubling pattern. I still remember the hot mic incident when Mr. Vivian Balakrishnan, caught unaware, called an opposition NCMP illiterate and questioned how he even got into Raffles Institution. Yes, he apologized, but the apology couldn't erase what it revealed. A mindset of elitism, a habit of looking down instead of looking across. And then there was the Redoubt Road. 2 ministers rented massive colonial-era state bungalows. If ministers can live like aristocrats while young families struggle for basic housing, something has gone terribly wrong. This isn't about envy. This is about survival, about trust. Already, the cracks are widening, inequality is hardening, and too many young Singaporeans are asking, does this country still belong to me? When leaders are held to a different standard, trust erodes. When rules bend for the powerful, faith in the system dies. When people believe the game is rigged, they stop playing by the rules altogether. So, what must we do? Demand equal accountability. No more excuses. No more double standards. Whether you're a minister or a cleaner, the rules must apply the same way. Leadership is not about privilege. It's about service. Those in power must remember, they serve the people, not the other way around. Every time a leader is held accountable, faith is restored. Every time justice is blind, the system grows stronger. And clean politics isn't just about punishing wrongdoing. It's about showing Singaporeans that no one is above the law. Because what Singaporeans want is not drama. They want dignity. They want to believe again. My dear friends, we are at a crossroads. Will we accept a Singapore where the powerful play by different rules? Or will we stand together and say, enough? This is our home. This is our future. And we must fight for a system that is free for everyone. Let's rebuild what matters. Let's show that this country belongs to all of us, not just the top few. So, with all humility, I, a 25-year-old young man, ask you, give us your vote. Give Red Dot United your vote. Thank you. Majulah Singapura.
Yes, thank you. So we want Singapore to be prosperous with a new generation. And Sharat, that's a very well thoughtful speech. We should not give them a blank check for this time out. So let me just introduce you our next speaker, Mr. Marcus Neo for Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marcus Neo. I am a candidate for the Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC. I'd like to thank everyone. Firstly, give a round of applause for yourselves for braving this chilly weather. Slight drizzle to grant us your presence. Tonight, it is Red Dot United's third rally thus far. It is also the second last day of our campaign. One of that can determine the next 5 years. 3 days ago, our Jurong East Bukit Batok team, all 5 candidates, bumped into Miss Graceful's team at Clementi's Hawker Centre. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been having a bit of fun on my social media, taking jabs at Miss Graceful, talking about taking chicken wings, giving back whole chickens. Well, so I had the good idea to go up to Mr. David Ho, who aspires to be a chicken rice store seller. I said, I hope you can forgive me. It's all good fun and sportsmanship in the light and the heat of general elections. He then replied me almost instantaneously. He said, after all, it's all about the residents. That took me a bit off guard, that can make me look very bad. Assuming if there's cameras around. I can appreciate the gesture. It's almost like they had a scripted, well, it's comms training, right? However, that got me thinking later. Mr. David Ho says it's about the residents. So let me ask you, is Mr. David Ho going to so-called help his residents hold his boss Grace Fu accountable in Parliament when she made comments about how Singaporeans should afford $5 wonton meals or $18 pastas. Or are they going to be counting their chicken wings together in Parliament? Not a single PAP MP voted against the GST increase. And I want voters to understand or to ask themselves, is Mr. David Ho or Ms. Grace Fu going to speak up for the 140,000 voters and their families in Jurong East, Bukit Batok, GRC, or perhaps for the whole Singapore, including Ms. Kala's SMC? Yes, no. Well, some of my colleagues and my friends have graciously said that I deliver good speeches. It is as if they came natural for me. Well, that's not true. That is because I've been speaking up for myself and the people around me my entire life. And if elected into Parliament, I will speak fearlessly for all Singaporeans. Yesterday, my team and I were at Holland Bukit Timah GRC, and I spoke of high-minded ideas like capital, labor, how we should have a balance. Today, I'd like to bring it back to the ground, to a topic that is common to all heartlanders. That is our jobs. You see, I was born to a family that is of an ordinary Singaporean type. My father's highest qualification is Primary 5. He worked hard in blue-collar jobs, starting off as being a cleaner, to a gas tank delivery man, to a chicken rice stall seller, the real one lah, okay? And today he's a fishmonger. My mother tried very hard. She went on to secondary school, but she found English challenging, and hence, that was her highest qualification. She then worked her way up from an entry-level front desk clerk to a manager in a 200-man SME today. That is 30 years of consistent hard work. My father was not the type to have too high or too harsh of an expectations on me. It is his kindness that rubbed off me for most of my life. You can consider him the hardworking, the silent father type. I'm pretty sure that many Singaporeans have similar memories for your own parents. My mother, on the other hand, she saw the limitations of how far you can go with a limited formal education in Singapore. So she slugged her guts out to put food on the table to push her two young children into university. I still remember the trying years where she had to detail down every single family expense on the paper family notepad. Yes, we had our struggles. I've moved on since. But as a young child, I can assure you, you never want to see your mother having to scrub loan shark paintings off the corridors of our HDB flats. I've been there. Fast forward 20 years later, having somewhat of an inquisitive entrepreneurial disposition, I preferred going out to chiong in the real world. I had somewhat of a back and forth with my formal education, and I finally only graduated from university at the age of 29. Then here comes the kicker. I finally got my shot at so-called a big company, MNC, located at the heart of the CBD, high gleaming office towers, air-conditioned, stable, sound salary. And it's the kind of job that I think most Singaporean mothers would feel proud of their sons for achieving after years of struggle. When I told my mother, I could see that she was very surprised and happy for me. It genuinely felt for the first time that I was doing her proud. However, it was not to be. After 5 months of exceeding my sales and marketing target straight in a row, testimonials from my colleagues emailed to HR, They continued to be vague in their response in my long-term employment prospects. Well, not that I was too concerned being on a probationary contract, but after 10 months, million-dollar high sales targets met month on month, it was taking a toll on my mental health. Not to mention that my bonus would have been compromised. Even my girlfriend said, "Marcus, you are swearing in your sleep. I hope you reconsider." I still remember sitting across me, this HR manager. He was of a foreign land. And he had the cheek to say to me, someone as a matter of fact way, back in our country, we can't do this to our people. But here in Singapore, we can do it to you. Just say that to me, as a matter of fact way. Can you believe it? The utmost ignorance, arrogance, and contempt, if you will. Us Singaporean men have served 2 years of our lives in national service and continue to service our country for 10 years straight for reservists. If you were in the position seated across like me with an individual who is employed in our country, one of which that you have contributed, continue to contribute to her defense and security, how would you feel? Well, I gave them 3 chances. I'm a reasonable person. Well, I've done business. People who have known me in business know me to be reasonable. I'm always willing to give more to reach a middle ground, and we all move on. Win-win. You make money, I get my salary, I get my bonus, we make more money together. However, when it comes push to shove, if certain lines are crossed, then I'll assure you that be prepared to meet me in battle. In Chinese, there's a saying that's called 公道自在人心. In English, it means fairness and justice is known to everyone in their hearts. So I took them on. Not in the sense that I went online to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, screaming and venting my case, so on and so forth. Oh no. That's not the adversarial politics nor activism that myself and RDU believe in. But I took them on in a legal, grounded, sensible, and professional manner. It took them weeks being put in front of the eyes of law, Singaporean style, and they folded. I had won, so-called, right? But so what? The trouble to go to court, to file legal documents, my parents being worried for me, and ultimately, I could not continue on with my job. And the most sad part is, I know that my mom tried to hide it, but I too know that she felt a deep sense of disappointment. Well, she had high hopes for me. Yeah. Well, as a Singaporean growing up in the 90s and 2000s, meritocracy, hard work is a value that all of us hold dear to our hearts. It's almost like a DNA that's ingrained in us. However, as our country grew, foreign talent from diverse cultures take roles in our local workforce, from technicians such as electricians to PMETs in finance, tech, so on and so forth. Let me make this clear, I am not against Singaporeans. Sorry, I'm not against foreigners. If they can value add, then by all means, come value add to Singapore and Singaporeans. However, there must be checks and balance, sensible approaches to immigrations. There must be legal safeguards, a balance in perhaps HR departments. Well, let's be honest to ourselves. You and I, if we were dead honest to ourselves, out of practical sensibility, we have to account for potential cultural or social biases in the workforce. We must ensure that all Singaporean local workers who contribute directly or indirectly to Singapore's security and defense have equal job opportunities and a level playing field. Just a couple of days ago, actually this was before nomination day, that her part-time job is being replaced by a foreigner in an F&B role. Can you imagine that? That's how bad it has gotten. She's 59, she looks young, but our more senior aunties can't even feed themselves through an F&B part-time role. That's how bad we've gone. That's how off the road tracks we've gone. If our seniors can't even fend for themselves in the part-time job market, then what more of our local younger Singaporeans that form the bulk of our workforce? It is only when Singaporeans, young, middle-aged and old, are provided the security of a home, assured fair treatment at the workplace, fair job opportunities without unfair competition, then we can surely say that, yes, we have a stake in our country, we're willing to put our roots here, and this is our home. If elected into Parliament, I will bring the same tenacity we heard here tonight into Parliament. I will not be asking for handouts, but I'll be asking for dignity. Red Dot United will push for our proposals to ensure you have the security of a home, assured fair treatment at workplaces, fair job opportunities without unfair competition, proper healthcare coverage for our seniors. We'll push for SIRS for All scheme so that you do not have to worry about upgrading your way out of lease decay. We will help the young couples with our rent-to-own scheme so that young couples like myself and my partner can have a chance to work our way to owning a home and calling Singapore our home. Today we stand before you as Singaporeans, cut from different cloths, made from different molds. We have all walked different lives, but today our paths converge beautifully with as a unique, diverse, resilient team that represents the very fabric of Singaporean society. One of multiracial harmony, mutual understanding, walking side by side. My colleagues of different races, regardless of language or religion, we come together and we call upon you. Dear voters of Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC, I call upon you to send this young man into Parliament. Give this young man his shot. I won't let you down. I will make you proud. Vote for Marcus Yeo Kai Jie. 给梁凯杰一票. Vote for RDU, Red Dot United. Vote for a better, fairer Singapore. Majulah Singapura. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Don't you think that Marcus and his team deserve to be in the Parliament? Once again, give Marcus and his team from Jurong East Bukit Batok another round of applause. All right, next up we have Mr. Nizar Subair from Holland Bukit Timah. Mr. Nizar, please.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. I'm Nizar Subair, and I'm 57 years old. I'm standing here not because I've always dreamed of politics, but because, like many of you, I've had enough. 30% of the problem we face across the country, I've met people who worked hard their whole lives, only to find themselves left behind in their 50s and 60s, still willing, still able, but quietly pushed aside. We are told to reskill, to stay relevant, but that's easy to say when you're drawing $1 million salary and sitting in an office far from the real struggles of ordinary people. What about the engineer now driving Grab? Or the auntie still manning the kopi stall at 72, rubbing her knees between customers? These aren't exceptions. They are becoming the norm, reality. This isn't about handouts. This is about our dignity. And in country like Singapore, where we have the means, no one should be working themselves to the bone just to get by. %60 why I'm with RDU and what we'll do. I joined Red Dot United because this party speaks to people like me, those who've fallen. I've tasted that and they were there to help me out. And they backed me up. Those who believe that policies must reflect real lives, but not just numbers in a report. RDU is guided by a simple but powerful idea that Singaporeans should be treated like first-class citizens in their own home. On jobs, okay. We'll push for a citizens' first hiring policy. Companies must prove they've made a genuine effort to hire Singaporeans at fair wages before bringing in foreign manpower. This isn't xenophobia, it's common sense. RDU has called for cutting excess wastage in government. We question the needs for so many mayors, parliamentary secretaries, and overlapping roles. Let's have a cleaner cabinet and use the savings to support the people, whether in housing, healthcare, or retirement. As far as ministerial pay, we say, peg it to the median wage. If the income of the average Singaporean doesn't rise, neither should ministers' salaries. That's real alignment. That's real accountability. RDU proposes a citizen's dividend, an unconditional payout to all Singaporeans. Not charity, yeah? Not welfare, but a recognition that you helped build this nation and you deserve to share in its rewards. These aren't empty promises, I promise you. These are ideas grounded in fairness and backed by experience. Let me share something. I saw that stayed with me. In Holland, Bukit Timah, I walked through one of the older rental blocks. Simple homes with neighbors who greet each other and share what little they have. Just across the road, Gimmer Road, Mercedes-Benz and BMWs parked in the driveways, private guards, manicured hedges. Same road, two different worlds. That's the Singapore we become. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against success. We should celebrate people doing well. But when the gap is so wide, you feel like crossing into another country just by crossing the street. Something has gone off course. This election is not about envy. It's about fairness. It's about asking, are we building a country where only the top 10% can thrive while the rest are told to tighten their belts? No. That's why I'm here. Not because I'm perfect. Not because I have fancy titles. Not because I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to be unseen. And I want Singapore where no one is made to feel invisible. So I ask you, walk with me. With Red Dot United, let's rebuild the promise of Singapore. not just as a place that works, but a place that works for everyone. Vote Red Dot United for fairness, for dignity, for each other. I thank you.
Thank you, Niza. So, my dear fellow Singaporeans, are you ready to walk with Red Dot United? On 3rd May, please walk with us with your vote. Put all 15 candidates of us into the parliament. Okay, next, let me introduce to you Mr. Harish Mohanadas from Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC.
A warm welcome to residents of Jurong Central SMC and Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC. We also welcome our friends from other constituencies that Red Dot United is contesting in, Holland Bukit Timah GRC and Nee Soon GRC, and other Singaporeans who are keen on hearing what we, Red Dot United, have to offer. Thank you for coming for this rally. In my previous speeches on my campaign trail, I spoke about the need for greater political competition, why voting for out-of-touch incumbents is a bad idea, and why I joined politics in the first place. I also spoke about how we can make all this happen. Today, I want to take a step back and talk about something a little closer to your home, how RDU intends to help you with your daily problems. I am an engineer, so my instinct has always been to solve problems. I've got more problem-solving techniques than most people can imagine. I'm a trained civil engineer with a master's degree in civil engineering. I have worked on several national-level infrastructure projects in Singapore since I began my career in 2011. I have been on HDB BTO projects, LTA MRT projects, PUB sewer and sewer tunnel projects, CAG airport infrastructure projects, and so forth. In fact, I am currently also involved with the new Science Center project that is being built right next door to this field. Soon, indeed, the residents of Jurong Central SMC and Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC will be able to enjoy the enhanced and more exciting Science Center right next door. And it is very fulfilling to me to have been a part of it. I am also a software engineer, something I started as a hobby and has become my current job as a principal software engineer. Today, I manage machines, manpower, and systems on multi-million-dollar projects involving government and industry clients. This is why I am part of Red Dot United's Town Council Transition Committee. Our Town Council Transition Committee comprises professionals and residents from a range of backgrounds and skill sets needed to run and oversee your town councils. In our walkabout since the days of Jurong GRC, many residents have asked us how we intend to raise their quality of life. We understand your concerns. A small party managing a town council. Are you serious? Well, RDU is a serious party. We have never left Jurong, no matter how they redrew the boundaries. We know the ground. Maybe a lot more than your current part-time MPs. Remember, Grace Fu once said she didn't know Hong Kong North very well. Well, guess what? We do. As a responsible party, we know that we will have to manage the town councils if we get elected. After careful study and planning, RDU launched our town council management plan on 25th August last year. It outlines our approach to managing town councils. If elected by the good residents of Jurong Central SMC, Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC, Holland Bukit Timah GRC, or Nee Soon GRC, we will put our town council management plan into action. Be it one constituency or 4, we have the plans ready to scale up our operations. And you know the people who are good at scaling up? Yes, engineers. We will serve all residents in the constituencies that we are elected in, no matter who you voted for. And we will serve you with gusto, with people who have both the know-how and the experience in running setups, finances, systems, and outcomes like those required by town councils. This is our promise to you. We will run our town councils in a transparent, accountable, and resident-centric manner. We will foster community engagement and participation in town council affairs. We will ensure efficient resource utilization and prioritize urgent maintenance tasks. We will enhance the quality of life for residents with investments to improve green spaces, parks, playgrounds, and water bodies, such as community fountains and ponds. We will provide responsive and accountable customer service to all residents. We will focus on sustainable practices and environmentally friendly products and services and green procurement policies. This is our promise to you. We will raise the standard. This is our campaign slogan for Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC. So, vote for me, vote for RDU, vote for your future. Together, we seek to serve you and all Singaporeans. Thank you.
Alright, Harish, thank you very much. How I wish Harish can become my MP. You know, I do not want part-time MP. I want full-time MP like Harish. So please, ladies and gentlemen, Jurong East Bukit Batok, do vote Harish and the team into the parliament. Okay, now, the next speaker will be myself. So, once again, I would like to welcome all of you to Jurong Central SMC Rally. Thank you for braving the rain. You are truly the true blue Singaporeans. Give yourself a round of applause. Let me begin my speech in a very brief introduction of myself. My name is Fadli Talib. I'm a candidate for Holland Bukit Timah GRC, and most of them whom I met in that constituency call me Abang Fazli, or just some of them call me Pakcik. I don't know why. Okay, maybe some of you have remembered me from 2011 January election. I contested in that year, and my team almost win and almost get elected into the parliament. Unfortunately, we did not win that battle, but the team earned the respect, earned the trust of Singaporeans who believe that a reasonable, credible opposition was not only possible, but necessary. That experience didn't weaken my spirit. In fact, it made me grow stronger now. And here I am. Friends, the problem we face in 2011 is nothing new. In fact, it gotten worse, and now it's 2025. I speak to you today not as a politician, but someone who has walked the ground and walked the same path as you. I lived through the rising cost of living. I watched groceries, utilities, basic necessity climb in prices, while salary just remains stagnant. I've seen qualified Singaporeans get passed over for jobs. I've spoken to elderly residents who are worried about coping in their golden years. I've met young couples delaying their dreams because they cannot afford a flat. This is not the Singapore that our pioneers are fighting for. And we have seen from the ruling party over the years what we have seen from them. GST hike to 9% right after the pandemic. This hurts ordinary Singaporeans, but ministers continue to earn millions of dollars in their salaries. Labour and immigration policies that claim to offer fair chance at job. But let's be honest, a chance isn't enough. Citizens deserve not just a fair chance. We deserve a fair rights to work in the only country we call home. Public housing, especially in the resale market, has become increasingly unaffordable for those who need a flat now, not years down the road. And people are rightly worried what happens when your 99 years ends. Will their home be worth nothing? Recently, PM Lawrence Wong said that electing more opposition MP could result in the loss of 3 to 4 ministers and may weaken the government at critical time. But here's the thing. Government should never be built around the fear of losing individuals. A strong leadership isn't about preserving the same voices. It's about accountability. It's about building a system resilient enough to welcome new faces. Experience matter, fresh thinking, and the confidence to listen. That's what a healthy democracy needs. That's why I joined Red Dot United, because we believe in real change, not recycled promises. Let me share what we will do differently. On GST, we will roll it back to 7%, because putting more pressures on struggling families during a crisis is simply wrong. And vouchers, they help in short term, but they don't cut it. We need structural relief that treats citizens with dignity. On jobs, we will introduce citizen first hiring policy. Foreign workers should not be brought in to undercut our people. Employers must show that no citizen is available at a fair market wages before hiring them from abroad. On housing, we will push for larger and more livable HDB flats. introduce rent-to-own schemes so our young can start their life earlier. Make redevelopment fairer through mandatory CERS. Home should be for the living, not speculation. These are not slogans. These are steps to rebuild trust and restore the promises of Singapore. Because out there, people are not just copying, they are quietly breaking. On my walkabout, I met young fathers in Bukit Panjang working 2 jobs. One as a logistic officer during the day, and by night, delivering food. Just to get by. He told me, I'm not asking for luxury, but I'm asking for breathing space. In Gimo, I saw an auntie in her 70s bending over crates at a market stall, lifting heavy loads where no one her age should be lifting. She told me, I'm still strong, but her frail hands and hunched back told me something else. In her voice, I heard resilience, but in her body, I saw what our system too often ignores: quiet exhaustion. These are not numbers in a spreadsheet. These are people, our people. And that's why this election matters. Not because who wins power, but because of who gets hurt. Because of who's live a little bit more secured, a little more hopeful, a little more dignified. So on 3rd May, I ask you not to vote for us, but to vote for what is right. Vote to say that no one should be punished for growing old, that no children should grow up watching their parents struggle endlessly, that no citizen should be feel like a stranger in their own homeland. This is your home, your only home, and you deserve to be heard. Let us build a Singapore where family can start without fear, workers are valued, not replaced, elders are honored, not overworked, and every citizen treated like a first-class citizen, because that's what we are. Your vote is not a transaction. It's a declaration that fairness still matters. Because, that fairness still matters, that dignity still matters, that people still matter. Vote for Red Dot United, for you, your family, for our future. Thank you, and may we walk together forward, not in fear, but in faith. Not alone, but united. Majulah Singapura. Allow me to address a few words for our Malay Muslim community. Nama saya Fazli Talib dan antara calon untuk Holland Bukit Timah GRC. Saya bercakap dengan anda pada hari ini bukan sahaja sebagai ahli politik, tetapi sebagai seorang yang berjalan di simpangan yang sama. Saya telah hidup melalui peningkatan kos sara hidup. Saya telah melihat barangan runcit, utiliti dan keperluan asas naik harga sementara gaji hampir tidak meningkat. Saya telah melihat warga Singapura kita yang berkelayakan masih susah mendapat pekerjaan. Saya telah bercakap dengan penduduk MAS, iaitu warga MAS, yang bimbang untuk menghadapi masa depan mereka. Saya telah bertemu dengan pasangan muda yang menanggungkan impian mereka kerana mereka tidak mampu mempunyai flat. Ini bukan Singapura yang diperjuangkan oleh perintis kita untuk membina. Dan apa yang kita lihat pada pemerintah hari ini, kenaikan GST kepada 9% dilancarkan dengan kemuncakan krisis inflasi betul-betul di hadapan pandemik global. Menyakitkan warga kita sendiri, sementara menteri terus menarik gaji yang berjuta-juta dolar. Dasar buruh dan immigration yang menawarkan peluang adil dalam pekerjaan, tetapi jujurlah peluang ini tidak mencukupi. Rakyat berhak bukan sekadar peluang yang adil. Kita berhak mendapat hak adil untuk bekerja di satu-satu negara yang kita dipanggilkan tanah air kita. Perumahan awam, terutama dalam pasaran jualan semula, sudah semakin lama makin mahal dan tidak dimiliki oleh mereka yang memerlukan flat sekarang. Bukan bertahun-tahun untuk masa depan. Dan orang ramai betul-betul bimbang. Apa yang berlaku apabila pajakan 99 tahun pada flat anda? Adakah rumah anda masih bernilai atau tidak? Jadi pada 3 Mei, saya meminta anda, saya menyeru anda, bukan mengundi untuk Red Dot United, tetapi undi dengan secara betul. Undi untuk mengatakan bahawa tiada sesiapa yang harus dihukum kerana mereka makin lama makin menua. Bahawa tidak ada anak perlu membesar melihat ibu bapa mereka berjuang tanpa henti. Bahawa tiada warga negara harus berasa seperti orang asing di tanah air kita. Ini adalah tanah air kita dan anda dilayak dan harus didengari. Marilah kita membina sebuah Singapura di mana keluarga boleh bermula tanpa rasa takut. Pekerja dihargai, bukan diganti. Orang dihormati, bukan bekerja berlebihan. Dan setiap warga negara dilayan seperti warga kelas pertama. Kerana itulah kita. Undi anda adalah bukan transaksi. Ia adalah satu pengisytiharan bahawa keadilan adalah penting. Maruah anda masih penting. Bahawa orang kita adalah penting. Undilah Red Dot United. Undi RDU. Untuk masa depan kita, untuk anda dan untuk keluarga anda. Terima kasih. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me just introduce a very fiery speaker from Jurong East, Bukit Batok, GRC, Mr. Ben Pua.
玉郎东五级八都集选区和玉郎中单选区的居民朋友们，大家好，我是 Ben Pua 潘家定，我是首届 President's Young Talent 得主。 多年来得了无数的奖，从事文化和社区活动20多年。我的活动项目也受到已故新加坡总统纳登的支持。今天我要谈的一个对我们大家都很重要的事：新加坡老年人口的比例加速上升，到2030年，每4人中就有1人超过65岁。你们应该知道了。 政府呼吁大家调整心态，积极面对老龄化，继续学习，尽可能延长工作年限来保持生产力。听起来，这似乎是一种积极合理的态度，但说实话，这种说法也让人感到难过。是的，我同意。 适当的运动可以提升老年人的身心健康。有些人认为 工作本身就是一种磨练。其实，工作时的辛苦和压力，跟休闲活动带来的健康好处是完全不一样的。为什么还有那么多的年长者必须去做工呢？让我告诉你，这些年长的新加坡人，他们被排除在这个国家的成功之外。他们因为现有的社会保障制度的不够完善，经济资源有限，他们成为社会中的弱势群体，在生活成本飞涨的环境中艰难的求生。我曾在走访社区时，与几位年长者在咖啡店共桌聊天，他们告诉我，现在的新加坡就是做到生病，做到身体长不住，才可以停下来。说白了，就是做到死。他们还说，很多年长者都在做最辛苦、最肮脏的工作，如清洁工、洗厕所、扫街工人。听到这些话，我心里非常难过。这些年长者为新加坡贡献了几十年的青春、智慧和汗水，他们不该在晚年仍为房租、三餐、交通和医疗苦苦挣扎。我们每一个人，不论职位高低、收入多少，都是这个国家的一部分。我们必须知道，有一天，我们大家都会变老。所以我们必须问自己一个很重要的问题：我们想在一个怎样的社会中老去？我相信新加坡可以做得更好，让年长者过上有尊严、有安全感的晚年，是国家的责任。谢谢。如果我当选，我会推动以下几点：一，更多经济援助。因为 PAP 政府还做得不到位，有些人需要帮助，但拿不到援助，确保年长者基本生活无忧，不必在买药和吃饭之间二选一。第二，更好的医疗服务，我们需要加强补贴，也可以设立流动诊所，照顾行动不便的老人。第三，有意义的工作机会，不是苦力活，而是发挥经验的工作，比如社区导师。朋友们，这不是施舍，而是公平。一个真正进步的国家，不能让任何人被遗忘。让我们一起努力，使每位年长者都安然、有尊严、充满自豪地度过晚年。请投给红点同心党，投票给一个更公平、更有希望的新加坡。Please vote Red Dot United, vote RDU。谢谢大家 ，Thank you everyone。
Dear voters of Jurong Central SMC, I am Ravi Philemon, the Secretary General of Red Dot United. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming here tonight. It was not the best of weathers. It was raining, and there was even a threat of lightning strike. But all of you braved the weather to turn up here, to listen to us. And to all of you, we owe a gratitude of thanks. Because when you go to the polls on May the 3rd, it is important for you to be informed. It is important for you to know what is at stake, what is the policies that the PAP is offering, and what are the policies that Red Dot United brings to the table, not to enrich ourselves, but so that our people can prosper together as one nation together. When it rained just now, some of my candidates, they took out their umbrellas to shield themselves from the rain. I don't fault them for doing that. I think some of you also did that. And some of them tried to say that we should go to the shelter which is further away. We have a shelter that is built like just right there. I think you can see it. But that shelter was flooded. So they said that, well, let's move to the shelter that's out there near the bus stop. And we were asked to leave from the stage because there was a threat of a lightning strike. And I looked at my candidates and I said to them, if we can't brave the rain and stand in the rain for our people, how will they trust us? I told my people, put away your umbrellas, we'll brave the rain. Let the people see that we will brave the rain, not only that the sky brings down upon us, but the rain that life brings upon us. Before we started today, this evening, as I've said, not once but twice, we were warned of a lightning strike. The lightning strike is real. "60 years of lightning strike fear, it's real." But we are not afraid of the lightning. We can brave the lightning. Why? Because our people are important to us. The people of Singapore is important for Red Dot United. And we will brave the lightning so that our people can live a better life. That's what is at stake here. And what is the most important? It's not the persons, it's not the party, it's the people of Singapore. We can sacrifice people, we can sacrifice parties, but we cannot sacrifice the people of Singapore. That's what Red Dot United is about. That is why we have put our necks on the line, so that we can be your voice, so that we can speak up for you. So when you send us to Parliament, you are actually putting yourself in Parliament. We are at a turning point in history. Tough times are coming. And that's what the PAP keeps talking about. The tariffs are coming, that we don't know how Trump will act, we don't know how Xi Jinping will act. We are a small player. But let's remember, it was not Trump who raised the GST. Not once, but 2 times. And in the midst of an inflationary crisis. Let's remember that. We seem to have a government that seems to be working for big businesses and for the billionaire class. we are not sure if it is a government that works for ordinary Singaporeans. We are not sure if we have a government that works to make sure that the people eat well. As I say that, let me say a few words in Hokkien. My Hokkien is a bit rusty. I grew up in a Hokkien neighborhood. Most of my friends were Chinese. I lived and worked in the US for a few years and also in Canada. And when I was there, my friend said, I always look for Chinese food. And my family said that you are an Indian in a Chinese body. So please pardon me if my language is a little bit crusty, but I want to talk to you from my heart. Li ho walang, wo tan ka jua walkabout ka tiu lao lang, wa liao ka ki kong chapabwe. Tapi hian ni wa jui kiang kong chapabwe. Inua jin tua e lao lang bo jaho. Inua game mia kong e simwa lang gong e lan teo kosong pun tan gua jit pun ji chap seng. Hian ni tua jit pun si chap seng. Ne ni wulang kong yi gya e tua ko ji chap seng ji chap seng. Sa chap seng si chap seng. Bolang e sim tapi uncle auntie si jin tua ela. Tapi u e MP kong pepe tong e yi ke kong walang ja hawker food jin tabo diam jit po chat e cheng sushi bo gam sushi bo. Gam sushi bo na e lao lang bo chai kopi tiam kalang kong xiao. Tapi tua bawa e jua a bawa e jua tapi o jua pun we sai jua kula. Tua ni pika lao e pun ja swa e. Lao lang e hui jinsa e sensitive. Gam si walang e sai kwa to swai a u swa e chuka tua pun ula. Tapi si chia bo hui liao jin kadu ja kilim wa si ai kwa tio chia. Ja jin la ekong lim chun chiko jat du ai kwa chia jadu bo hui. Wa ai chia lim e sim kong ni li ja bo liao wa ja liao pun ja pun bo eng e. Wa jo me kalang ja ka chia si chia do tua. Bo ja liao pun ai tuo GST. Liao bo chut, liao pun, bo chut lang chut, jin cha bo, liao ho. Ji ko si lim cham, chi ko, jak du walang, jak. Jak du walang, go chia. Tapi, chiu cheng, jak du walang, ki liao. Desi kan walang pun wu a PAP si kong walang si kong elite si kong swatwa. Nai lakti wu swa kong li lien kopi tam e te o jwa mia we engle. Tapi lakti swa kong wu kong chia pa bwe pun u swa tua sia a. Ne pun ja kong le Sugam Jiu Swati, Kopitiam Ka Te Oka Elang. Lekong Liao Gam, Swasi Liao, Mia Kopitiam A. Guatiam Tosi, Walanka, Jitiam Cha Kopi, Cha Te, Cha Pabweho. Kamsia Walang. In the Chinese culture, in the Chinese tradition, we all know how important yin and yang is. We know that where there is yang, there also needs to be yin. Where there is yin, there also needs to be yang. In Singapore, I think we are missing one of the elements, which is why we do not have balance in our society. It is time to bring balance into society. It is time to bring yang into society. We are the yangs to the yin of the PAP. When you vote for Red Dot United, you vote to bring balance back into your lives. We are not telling you that we don't need the PAP. We are not telling you that at all. They have a role to play. The PAP has a role to play. So do responsible, credible opposition parties like Red Dot United. Some people will tell you that the PAP can check themselves. We know that it never works. It never works. You always need a third party to check yourself. In Parliament today, you have what we call, if you look at soft drinks, you have what we call a Coke, which is the PAP. And some say, some of the opposition in Parliament are like Coke Light. And I say, send RDU into Parliament because we will be vanilla Coke for you. We are not even talking about Pepsi because people don't even want to go near Pepsi, right? We are talking about vanilla Coke. That's what RDU will be. We will speak up for the people. We are not here to upset the system. We understand how important the system is for Singaporeans. But it's for sure that the system needs a reset. It needs a reset. Sometimes when a computer breaks down, I'm not a speaker of the computer language. For that, we have Mr. Harish Mohadas, who is a principal software engineer. But I think I'm not wrong when I say that sometimes your computers need a reset. Have you faced that when you're using your laptops or your computers? Sometimes your computers need a reset, and Red Dot United is that reset. I have lived in other countries, and when you just walk across the causeway, you realize that every morning, sometimes at 5 or 5:30 p.m., you will hear the rooster crow. And when the rooster crows, you know that it's time to wake up. You don't hear it so much in Singapore. All the chicken you may see maybe in the FairPrice or Sheng Siong. Or maybe if you go down Thomson Road, you'll see some wild chicken around there. But I tell you, in some of the other countries, you don't need an alarm clock. The rooster wakes you up. Red Dot United is like that rooster that wakes you up. But you know, in a country like Singapore, it's never easy to be a rooster. Because they're waiting to catch you, chop off your neck, unplug your feathers, put you in the boiler, and make chicken curry out of you. But despite all that, we have to put our necks on the table. Why? Because the people matter. People are important to us. We will never be afraid. We will never be afraid of the lightning strike. That is the promise me and my candidates make to you. We will never be afraid of the lightning strike. We will always speak for our people. And speaking of roosters, a rooster which says that the morning has come. There is no bigger rooster in Red Dot United than Madam Kala Manikam. Just now I spoke to you about the rain that fell upon us and how we braved that rain because people are important to us. Yesterday too we had some rain at our rally site in Holland Bukit Timah. There too we braved the rain. But you know what we saw after the rain went away? We saw a rainbow. A rainbow which says that there is hope. After every downpour. After every downpour. There will always be a rainbow. There will always be a rainbow. Tell somebody, there is always a rainbow in the sky. Don't be afraid of the rain, because after the rain comes the rainbow. After the downpour comes hope. And it is a message of hope that we bring to you tonight. Not a message of fear. We do not believe in scaring our people. We want to give you hope. Hope of a better tomorrow. Not only for yourself, but for your children and your children's children and the generations that come after them. We want Singapore to be prosperous. We want Singapore to be united. And for that, we have to crow like a rooster. The morning has come. The new dawn has come. And we have to speak up for our people, regardless of how dangerous it may be for us. And like I told you, we have no greater rooster in Red Dot United than Madam Kala Manikam. Let's put our hands together and let's welcome Madam Kala Manikam to talk to you.
Good evening, my fellow Singaporeans. Firstly, before I begin my speech, can we convey our thanks to this signaling sign language personnel who's doing the work. And this is what exactly RDU stands for. We want to be inclusivity, and we bring everybody in. And the other two persons that I want to thank now, it's my three persons I want to thank now, is Daniel. Daniel, are you there? Yeah, please give a round of applause to this young man. When I'm crowing in the morning, coming early for my walkabouts, and this young man is only going to be 21, right? But the brilliant young man who always with me. And the other person is Jimmy. I don't know where is Jimmy, who's my photographer, who takes all the beautiful photographs for me. And it's very silently done. And of course, my sister, who actually went to all the blocks, and she actually placed the pamphlets either in the letterbox or doorstep. In fact, we covered all the 100% of the blocks in Jurong Central SMC. So where I'm coming from, I'm not alone in this whole process. There is a team that is involved behind every scene. We always take it for granted that we are always moving forward on our own. No. Behind every single actions that we're doing, every success that we get, that somebody is behind us. So again, one round of applause for all these people that I've just shared. Thank you so much. Again, my fellow Singaporeans and residents of Jurong Central, at our first rally, I urge all Singaporeans to step up with courage, to transform fear into faith, and to vote for change. I then said, and I say again, real change begins with the belief that we can make the change. Can we make the change? Jurong Town Central. All at the second day rally, I make my stand very clear. The opposition strengthens the government. The reason I made this statement is because Mr. Lawrence Wong made the statement that opposition weakens the parliament. So basically, I made a message again to the reporters to say that without opposition, PAP cannot be strengthened. So they should give us the benefit, they should give us the credit for making them much more stronger is because of the opposition. Where we bring in new ideas, fresh perspectives, and moral courage to speak up for you. Today, I would like to share with you our vision and our value and our 5-year mission with a plan rooted in one central idea. Fellow Singaporeans, today's my theme is, we are a family. A family in Singapore, as this is our home. We believe in building this nation the way families do, with trust, with unity, and with commitment to deliver. Let me introduce myself again one more time. I'm Kala Manikam, a proud Singaporean and a graduate with Masters of Arts in Education, a research-based program. From a very early age, I experienced hardship and injustice. My dad is a laborer in a Singapore Port of Authority, and my mom is an oil spillage cleaner. She used to work in big ships. The two of them have to work because we are 5 of us. And both has to work to bring in the food to our table. It was hardship not only I went through, every single person who was standing here, your parents or grandparents have gone through this. Maybe we have not heard or seen it, but I have seen it, the pain and struggle, every single parents, not only my parents, but your parents and your grandparents have gone through. The painful part is that they have to put the food on a table. They don't even see what time they're waking up, what time they're going to bed. And they ensure the children has the food. And today's parents are also doing the same thing. And I feel the pain and struggle today's parents are going through, where 2 parents have to work because of the high cost of living. And many parents are feeling the guilty that they could not spend the time with their children. And many children, in silence, could not share their love, their grief, the pain they might be going through. We might be thinking as a kid will go through injustice wherever they are. There's a question mark we ask. But I'm telling you as a parent of a 16-year-old daughter, injustice in every single aspect in our community, in our country. And it's something that needs to be eradicated and we need to protect. My 16-year-old child now, as young as even in primary school, I became her voice to ensure that she is protected. Whenever I became a voice, the schools, teachers and principals might not be very comfortable with me, but I have to protect her from have this injustice. There's so many injustices happened to me since I came to awareness, to the extent I could not remember many or none, because I have a very forgiving heart. It's so painful, even till today. The pain of injustice is rooted not only with me, but with the people of Singapore. To be honest, it's so painful that many nights I actually cried, not for myself, but also for the people of Singaporeans. I just want to say, this injustice that's happening to anyone in Singapore, it should not be condoned of. It is something that we, as a Singaporeans, have to address and bring this injustice to be more fairer society in our country in every aspect of our life. As I came from this campaigning, my 16-year-old daughter, I started my campaign since the time March 11, when the reboundary has been announced. We were all busy planning. Being a single parent, I have to leave her alone and go out for my walkabouts and doing whatever necessary for Singaporeans. It's not only me leaving my daughter alone. There are many parents are leaving their children alone at home and getting the things going. So where I'm coming from, there are many men and women are also in my same shoes, who has to bring single-handedly their children where they have to take care of their needs in terms of financially, in terms of emotional, in terms of making sure that the food is on table. So where I'm coming, in a sense that my journey in this whole process, it's about bringing a fairer society and ensure every single person is protected from this hurt of injustice. And we need to stand up and address this issue. Going back to my career began in service as one of the pioneer female SAF officer in a tri-service officer cadet course, 190 OCC. I trained alongside men and led as a platoon commander at the officer cadet school. I later moved into a private sector, contributing to the development of the on-job training institutions. In the healthcare, I served at SGH, Singapore General Hospital, and National Heart Centre, helping nurses grow their leadership qualities through learning and development. And over the past 20 years, I dedicated my life, or myself, to education, building skills, building confidence, and building people and a thinking society. But in all these years, one thing continues to be a pain buried deeply. Even with the reskilling, upskilling, cross-skilling, whatever skilling, even with hard work, too many Singaporeans remain unemployed or underemployed. They are capable and talented Singaporeans. I've seen into myself when I'm facilitating classes. They're so brilliant. Singapore have all the talents we want. I've seen them through in the past 20 years when I'm doing my classes. They are very willing, but the system is not working for them. That's why I step forward. To speak up, to stand up, to advocate for the dignity in Singaporeans. Because gainful employment isn't just about money. It's about mental health, family stability, and national pride. I've seen many individuals who came to my class who are either retrenched or no job
or tirelessly, they're trying to get a job, sending in so many resumes in Singapore, such a developed country and the top country in the world, could not find a job. When they share the pain, I could not believe that I'm in Singapore and we say at one hand, we are developing people, but on the other hand, my Singaporeans don't have job. The moment a person has no job, it affects not only that man or that woman, it affects the whole family, even to the extent of children who might be deprived of the 2 meals or the 3 meals, whatever they need to get. If we have put ourselves in that shoes, we know the challenges that a family goes through without job. Today, I was at a coffee shop in Jurong Central. I saw this young man, young boy actually, about maybe 16, 17 years old. He was talking to someone telling that, no, election is coming, rallies are going to come, I'm going to deploy you here. So I thought he was talking to somebody. And he came and talking to somebody because from the angle I'm sitting, I could not see who is he talking to. I thought he was talking to a group of people. And it happened 3 times, 3 episodes. The 3rd episode, I went to see him. What is he doing? You'll be surprised. There was no one in front of him. And he's talking as though that he's giving instruction to somebody and feeling great about it. If I'm the mother there, I feel the pain. And why this child is talking to no one there. And what happened to him? This is something that mental well-being of the people are affected, and many of them are going through in silence. Thanks. Just give me a moment. Dear Singaporeans, I want to say this. It can be anyone in Singapore, be it your child or be it somebody's child, but remember, it's our child. And we have to make or do something to develop or to eradicate in a manner where our children are in an environment which is very healthy in terms of mental well-being. That's more important than anything else we're talking about. Sorry, let me come back to what's happening. Thank you. Mr. Sia Yakun, not Mr. Chia, Mr. Sia wished for an opposition candidate to contest in Jurong Central SMC. Red Dot United has answered the call. I'm Kala Manikam, and I'm here to fulfill that wish. Now let's talk about my opponent. I respect Mr. Sia's effort. He walked the ground, listens, and serves. He focused on infrastructure, and he has introduced support programs that help with the cost of living and aging. That's commendable. But we must be honest with ourselves. There are basic expectations of an MP. These are just basic expectations of an MP. And many residents have come to me and said, he's a nice person, but he doesn't speak up for us in the parliament. And that is the key issue. A leader must be more than pleasant. He must be bold and courageous. The people of Jurong Central need someone who will speak up with courage, compassion about the real matters, especially on issues like job, rising costs, mental health for everyone, and care for our elderly. Thank you. Yes, both Mr. Sia and I partially new to this SMC. As a former MP of the old Jurong GRC, he knows part of this constituency. Let me tell you a story not many people would know. I used to say in Anson constituency, but after it fell to JB Jeratnam, I think many of you know JB Jeratnam,
in the early 1980s, a courageous and bold man. We need to give him that tribute and respect. Yeah, he deserves it. We were made to relocate. My father felt that those who voted for JBJ were purposely being relocated to Jurong. But now, I know better. Your vote is secret. I know because I've contested an election before, and I know without a shadow of doubt that your vote is secret. I went through the whole process seeing how it is happening. So don't worry about who you are giving your vote to. If you vote for me, nobody will know you voted for me. But you will have a courageous and compassionate person in the parliament to speak up for you. So that's how I landed in Jurong, in a blessing in disguise. A girl with the ancient spirit growing up in Jurong. This is my home. This is my people. This is my community has shaped me, and now I stand to serve them. Today I want to address a common myth. Just before every election, we see the same thing. 5-year plan rolled out by PAP across every constituency. Let me be clear. All these plans will still go ahead. Even if from RDU is elected, because these budgets are already been planned for development of this constituency. For example, my team and I have walked the ground here in Jurong Central SMC, and already we have observed some infrastructure that need to be improved. Very simple, basic one, which not even taken care with sensitivity. If you notice, a wheelchair ramp is needed on one side of Chinese Garden MRT station for better accessibility for the mobility challenged people. But it's not been addressed. And discarded litter on grass left unattended on grass patches next to MRT station. Old notice dated a few years ago in lift lobbies that should be removed or updated. It was only recently removed after our auntie Emily actually highlighted to the Jurong Central SMC. We will share the highlights, such instances to the town's council and relevant agencies for their attention. But please remember, there is no loss when you vote for the opposition. I repeat again, there is no loss, no risk when you vote for the opposition. But there is something to gain. A voice in the parliament that truly represents you. I will not let promises of walkways become a distraction from deeper issues. Yes, sheltered paths are important to protect us from weather elements, but sheltered paths must not shelter us from the underlying truth of our struggles. What's truly pressing are these: rising cost of living, elderly care that goes beyond surface level support, the sandwich generation struggling to care for children and aging parents, mental health challenges at all ages, a silent crisis of seniors feeling unwanted and unseen. That is very painful for me. One senior, he is named Major Cheng. He just actually celebrated his birthday and he turned 80. I think he's 80 years old. Recently, just yesterday this happened, and told me with deep sadness, they think we can't contribute because we look old, but our minds are still sharp and strong. He's right. Even LKY was mentoring ministers well into his 90s, am I right? So do our seniors too, can still mentor, teach and guide others. Imagine a retired mathematics teacher coaching students who can't afford tuition, or elderly citizens helping with admin work, mentoring teens and supporting their neighbors. Not as charity, but with dignity and fair remuneration will be given to them. We need to value them with dignity because they come with wealth of competencies and experiences which cannot be overlooked. That's what I believe in. Active aging gracefully with a purpose. They must have a purpose, not rotting in their own homes. And always looking at the walls, what's going to happen next. And that is why I say, we are one family in Jurong Central. The elderly are our parents, I repeat again, the elderly are our parents. The middle-aged are our brothers and sisters. That means I'm referring to sandwich group people. The children are our children. And like any strong family, we build trust together. Therefore, at Red Dot United, our 5-year plan is built on the new 5 C's. Collective prosperity. We grow together as a family, no one left behind. Citizens' dividend. Monthly unconditional cash transfers because Singaporeans deserve to be treated as first-class citizens. Comprehensive housing reset to protect the value of your homes and introduce regenerated schemes like selective and block redevelopment schemes without uprooting lives unfairly. Caring healthcare, make Medishield accessible for outpatient care, mental wellness, and everyday needs. Civil freedom, community connection. We will knock on every door in every language to share, listen, and to learn and act compassionately and courageously without fear of being censored or silenced. This is my promise to you. No resident will be left behind. I'll visit every home with your permission, especially our elderly, to listen deeply and to serve with heart. We will not stop until dignity is restored to every member of our family as befits first-class citizens. So tonight, I ask for your trust, not just in me, but in the vision we RDU share. A Singapore that is fairer with compassion, more united. Vote for courage. Vote for our community. Vote for Kala Manikam. Vote for Red Dot United. Thank you very much. Majulah Singapura.
Fellow Singaporeans, voters of Jurong Central SMC, we present to you Kala Manikam. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. Come on, guys. Your candidate for Jurong Central SMC. Trust her, give her your votes, and I vouch for her. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Today is the second last day before campaigning for this GE ends. Tomorrow will be the last day. Red Dot United will have one more rally tomorrow at Nee-Soon GRC, at the futsal arena at Yishun Central. We have a message for Singapore. We have a message for the voters. So I invite all Singaporeans to come and listen to us at the futsal arena at Yishun. And before we close this night, I want to end this night by taking a pledge. The Singapore Pledge. I want to invite my fellow candidates to come to the front, some on my right and some on my left. In a straight line, please. Find a spot. Emily. And I invite you to join us in taking the pledge. We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society, so as to achieve, based on justice and equality, so as to achieve, happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation. Thank you, Singapore. And good night, everyone. I invite my candidates to go down and meet your residents who have come here to see you.
Well, once again, to Jurong Central SMC residents, Red Dot United really appreciates your presence, and we would like to urge you to join us for our last rally tomorrow at the Futsal Arena in Yishun Central. So do keep a lookout on the papers, on our social medias. Thank you. Oh, okay. I get it corrected. It will be on the field just beside the Futsal Arena. So it will be starting at 7 p.m. and hopefully the weather will be good for us. Thank you. And once again, good night, take care, and be safe.